How much do I owe in taxes? Why do you ask? Because you asked me to pay. Why don't you just estimate how much? But what if I underpay? Then you'll be in big trouble. Well, how would you know if I underpaid? With metrics.
So this is one of the great frustrations with the IRS and with our tax system is we report to the IRS how much we think we should pay based on their forms and their calculations and all of the tax laws. And it would be a heck of a lot easier if they just told us how much we should pay. They have metrics or ratios that if you've got expenses in your business that seem pretty far out of line, it's going to raise a red flag and they're going to come knocking on your door or sending you a piece of mail to check into what's going on. So if you've got a local business, but you've got a really excessive travel expense, or if you've got certain other expenses that may be just completely out of line with what the industry norm is, they actually have software that may trigger a little alert so that you get something in the mail asking about that. And the IRS actually does offer some guidance on what some of these guidelines are and what some of the reasonable ratios are. So if you're running an average business in an average industry and your numbers are pretty average, that will actually strangely reduce the risk of being audited. The other way to reduce a risk of an audit, though, is to make less money, which seems a little bit backwards. But the reality is the more money you make, the more taxes are at stake, the more likely you are to have the IRS come knocking on your door asking to look at your tax returns. So I think it's a good practice to actually sit down with your CPA or your tax preparer and have them explain what actually went onto these forms just to make sure that it makes sense to you.